Welcome to another episode of We're Not Afraid of the Dark. I'm Adam Dutch with my brother Ben.
How's it going, everybody?
So here we are on one of the scariest episodes of Season 1. Episode 5, The Hungry Hounds.
And I know you're not serious.
Not at all, man. This is, I actually remember watching this episode when it was brand new as a kid. And, I wasn't scared then. It was more just like a creepy atmosphere episode.
Well, yeah, the whole thing doesn't make any sense. It's multiple stories put into one thing, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
Well, I can't say this. I watched it last week for the first time in a few decades, and I thought the story was shit. I watched it again for my show notes the other night, and I was thinking it's not as bad as I was making it out to be. It's definitely in the bottom 10 episodes, I think. But some of the stuff they say on there was a little complicated, especially for children back then.
Well, yeah, and also, like I said, it was multiple stories put into one thing, and it didn't go anywhere.
Well, here's the first story for you. The episode opens up with Kiki and Betty Ann with matches in their hand. They never actually show a kid start fire on the show because of standards or practices. But in this episode, they show someone lighting a lantern. Did you catch that?
I did not catch that, no.
Well, then Krista shows up with her dog. And what's the dog's name, Ben?
Isn't it Elvis?
Yeah. Do you remember that Saved by the Bell episode where they break the Elvis statue and they have the hound dog that they lose in the poker bet?
No, but I did see something that says that Saved by the Bell, the whole thing is Zach Morris in a coma.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I actually guest starred on a Saved by the Bell podcast a few months ago called Saved by the Bell with Millennials. If you want to check that episode, we reviewed the Save the Max episode, and I was just ripping the hell out of that fucking thing, especially with my background in radio.
Oh, speaking of, not showing kids playing with fire, did you know in the States that beer commercials, you don't show people actually drinking the beer?
Did they do that back in the day? Because I do remember, you would watch TV at 6 p.m. on Sunday night, a commercial for Budweiser would pop up on the screen.
Yeah, but I can't remember one where they're actually drinking.
Yeah, there's people with drinks in hands.
Yeah, drinks in hand,
Yeah.
But you never see them actually consume alcohol, which I'm doing right now.
I work in the nightlife industry, and there are rules on certain advertising where you can't, say, get fucked up tonight, or, there's certain rules on the price of beverages as well, so it is regulated. Now, with this dog, do you notice that Kristen, this is her first story in season 1? But she seems to bring props with her.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure? I feel like every time she's late, it's her story.
Yeah, she does relate. She's always featured somehow in the beginning of the episodes, like when she was scared of the clown story.
Right.
Or she's doing something with David on the Lonely Ghost episode. But this is her first time actually telling a story. She brings props with her, though. We're going to do the prom episode. She's wearing some elaborate dress when she's doing that. But waste no time going into this. Now, Ben, did you notice the actress's name that popped up on the screen when we go into the story of this?
No.
Mia Kirshner.
Okay, that rings a bell. How?
The L word?
I never watched the L word.
I watched some of it. She's been on some pretty high profile things, though. But she's playing Pam in this episode. She was on the Black Delilah, that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, the serial killer movie.
The Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloodline, that TV show.
I got nothing for you, buddy.
All right. Deviants.
Nope.
CSI New York. What episode? 2009. The Vampire Diaries. I'm on the IMDb page for it right now.
CSI Vegas is the only real CSI.
I lost track of them. I just know that show inspired a whole generation of forensic psychologists.
Dude, the guy from Quantum Leap is one of the ones from CSI. It's New York. It might be New York. Might be Chicago. I don't know.
Oh, Mia Kirshner plays a role in one of my favorite movies of all time. Not Another Teen Movie. She plays the Sarah Michelle Gellar parody from Cruel Intentions, the stepsister. She's like, there's some anal sex joke in the movie. Like every time she has anal sex, she has to take it off or something like that. I mean, that movie was funny. But my favorite character in that movie is the football coach who said, "God damn it," said it.
Oh yeah.
In the story, we find out that they are in Pam's attic, which has the artifacts from the family. Her city slicker cousin, Amy, is visiting, while Pam is cross-dressing in her grandfather's clothes. Amy pretends to be a ghost. Then they find a photograph of Aunt Dora, who looks exactly like Pam.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Explain.
Wouldn't she look like her mom more so than her aunt?
It depends on how the gene chemistry works.
But
yeah, her mom looks nothing like any of them.
Oh yeah,
and her mom's a little bit older in this episode. Her mom looks like she's in her 50s. Another thing I noticed is like this seems a little old school. Like it goes to the trunk labeled Dora P's 1963, but it seems like it was a few decades before the 60s. This episode came out in the early 90s, so would have been a little less than 30 years. Now, Ben, I'm a big fan of steamer trunks. But what did you think about this trunk?
The one thing that I loved about it is that they hear something in the trunk, and the city cousin, what was her name?
Her name's Amy.
Amy. She says, it's probably a mouse. They find the mouse hole, right? They find the mouse hole, and then when it does pop open or whatever, a mouse pops out, and it's like they didn't expect that, even though they've already been like, oh yeah, it's a mouse hole. There's probably a mouse in there.
Yeah, and it didn't jump out to like the top of the trunk, not the actual mouse hole.
Right.
Yeah, that mouse went through some really big effort.
I mean, but their shock was like over exaggerated for already expecting a mouse to be in the trunk.
Which was more overreacting, that or the Lonely Ghost episode where the Bob freaks out about the sign that fell down?
Probably still the mom.
Well, the mother calls for them to come down and feed the dogs. I had dogs written down, and then later on this episode, there's an argument between them where she says dogs plural the first time.
And it's a singular dog.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. I have the episode here. As they're walking down, there's a short culture shock with Amy in the country. And Pam shows Amy what she does for fun, which is going on a neighbor's horse.
Yeah. I mean, we had a neighbor with a horse.
Yeah, I remember just going with feeding them. I wasn't trying to ride it or anything.
We used to feed the goats in the backyard.
Yeah.
But man, how many times did you get electrocuted by that fence?
Too many.
Oh my God, that thing was a death trap.
Well, it keeps kids out, keeps the ghosts in, right?
Mm.
Well, mom scares them because, of course, you need to get your kids' attention. She's just getting on a horse, so you beat the damn horn at her.
Right. Yes. Scare the horse, and then we'll have another.
Yeah, even though she mentions that something happened years ago.
Right. Scare the horse. That's what took down Superman.
Horse.
Yeah.
The next scene, they're playing a Ouija board outside. What the fuck does anybody play with this damn thing outside? You don't it's thing to like a picnic or something. Usually it's something you play late at night with people, right?
Well, they did like broad daylight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how they got the code to the steamer trunk.
Yeah. Mom banned us from having one of those damn things in the house. Pour it to the devil or something like that.
Yeah. See, I never mess with those.
Well, there's one. I think I have one in my consignment booth to the antique store right now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but it says, "Let me out." Spelling out on the Ouija board, followed by the combination code, which is all single digits, 149. That's when the mouse pops out, by the way.
Yeah. So it was the mouse speaking through the Ouija board. I think they even said something about that.
Well, I wanted to know why the hell there was a steam coming off the riding gear. You notice that?
Yeah, yeah.
Like when they freak out about that, it's like, why the fuck is this like these old clothes like have shit coming off of them? Em puts on the red coat and it's instantly possessed and getting her hair styled in the process.
Right.
She's hypnotized and magically transforms into night, and there's a magical staircase outside. And I do remember that being like vividly memorable when I was a kid. Like that just
Yeah, because it went from the attic down to the outside. Like, see, that's part of that whole like, okay, you could have done that differently. She could have very well walked down the attic, out the door, and been in the same place. But oh no, magical fucking window with a staircase.
yeah, and like the music playing is like, I feel like it was like William Regal's intro music for wrestling or some shit. I mean, it's like
very British.
Yeah, it's like she's about to tell you where to go talk to the magical elf down the street to like give you some magical fucking power or some shit. Not, we're gonna go down and see the family graveyard.
Yeah.
Well, that's when they end up. They see Adora's grave, and Pam tells the story of Mon Petit Riche.
I'm glad you can pronounce that shit.
I can speak a little French, and actually, petite means little. So, Mon Petit Rouge, and she says in the episode, guess?
Little fox.
My little red.
Oh my god.
Or my little red one, depending on the context.
Yeah. Well.
But then a ghost appears because every fucking ghost in Are You Afraid of the Dark needs to be a live actor just wearing a bunch of white makeup rather than like a hologram figure or some kind of early CGI shit. The CGI in the early 90s did suck dick, by the way. Jumanji is fucking terrible. That movie was a piece of shit. I remember watching that back when it came out. It was like, damn, what happened with the effects here?
Hold on, what movie?
Jumanji.
Oh my god. Jumanji was one of the best movies ever made. You shut your mouth.
Well, they're remaking it.
No, they're not remaking it.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. You're talking about the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart and shit?
No, I'm talking about Jumanji with Robin Williams. Playing that guy who grew up in like the 60s. He plays the board game.
His name was, hold on. Alan. Oh my god. Hold on. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. What's it start with?
They are making Jumanji. It comes out this year. It just says December 20th. Called Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Alan Parrish. That was his name. Right. Alan Parrish.
Well, you're going to hear a Guns N' Roses song at some point in this bitch.
Well, no, that's the one with Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart's the new Jumanji?
Yes. Kevin Hart and The Rock are in the new Jumanji.
Jesus Christ. What the hell are they trying to do here?
And it's, rather than a board game, it's a video game.
No, this is up to the tires. Yeah, I see Dwayne Johnson on this
see?
thing now. And Jack Black playing the professor.
Yes.
And Dick Jonas here. And some
I don't even know who that is.
It's a guy, the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, well. Yeah. They're still alive?
Hey, it's part of that group dance now that had Cake by the Ocean.
What are you talking about?
Nick Jonas has a few songs. Chains came out a few years ago. You get up on your music history.
Yeah, I think I'm really missing something.
Well, I always try to guess. Like we talked about the special effects, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or the lack thereof. This would have been a good episode for it, other than just the magical fucking staircase. Now, I had to show Kayla, my girlfriend, Sleeper Shorts for our podcast a few weeks ago.
How has she not seen that?
She was born in 1993.
I have her by 5 years. Not that much happened in 5 years.
Well, I mean, I don't think she had Nickelodeon growing up. She didn't have it until like 12, 13. So by then, it wasn't airing in syndication anymore. However, I found out doing some research that the budget for those episodes was $100,000 an episode. I have a feeling that Are You Afraid of the Dark was probably a little bit more, because it's more like production aspects, but the special effects probably would have cost that much back then to put that kind of shit in there.
$100,000. They bought the campsite, and then they pocketed the rest.
So that campsite's on a soundstage. In reality, I found that out doing some research. However, there's a lot of actors who I'm assuming were part of the Canadian Union, especially when you have minors involved.
Of course.
Well, what do you think about this ghost? His name's Giles, by the way.
He reminded me of back when we were kids, and like, I don't know if it was a ghost or if it was a fucking neighbor, but do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we're at a graveyard, and me and Ben grew up again. in a rural area. There's farmland next to us with ghosts. There's a bunch of woods. So we're always hanging out in the woods playing games. Like we found this old graveyard behind our neighbor's house, and up appears this old guy out of nowhere.
Yeah. And he asked if it was our land. We said no. And then
he's going to that day.
Yeah. And then like the dude just, I don't know if he walked away or if he vanished or what, but freaked us out. It was like it was Thanksgiving. We had the cousins down. We were all in the graveyard. We must have been telling ghost stories. I don't know. Sun was up. It wasn't like it was this creepy atmosphere. Like the sun was up.
It never occurred to me to set a fire back there, but I do remember some other woman who found us back there and asked for a playoff matches. I was like, no, we just want to come here and hang out.
God.
Giles tells us the story. He says the dogs died because Dora didn't feed them before she died. Then he gets mad and starts chasing them.
All right, so she didn't feed them for a day.
Are you sure they said a day?
They didn't say that wasn't a day.
Yeah, but I was also thinking, like, a girl goes missing. They say that she died because she fell off the horse. But I've heard the horse died.
Right. So, but here's the thing. She said that, like, all right, she found the fox, Little Red or My Little Red, whatever. Okay, she found him. The hounds were going to hunt him. So she obviously had been around the dogs and been around the fox and let the fox go so then it would live. So the hounds didn't eat for a day, maybe two. I
was also thinking, like,
you're not going to be ravenous over that shit.
Assuming that Dora is the same age that Pam is now, which is mid-teens, her sister would have been living with her, who was Pam's mom. And they're like, hey, we gotta feed the dogs? No, we gotta go look for this girl. It was like best in that five. She's dead, baby.
So here's the thing. Is this story really about the horse that killed her or the dogs that have like 3 minutes of screen time?
I thought it was about the fox because that's her secret.
Oh, well.
Because the fox was there for dog hunting.
Then why is it the hungry hounds?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute because after that, Pam is still possessed and says she has to feed the hounds. Amy tries to take the jacket off of her, but no worky. And then she locks her in a part of the stable. Amy tries to go find the kibble, but then Pam escapes and opens the door. Here's what we see of these hounds, man. I swear. Is it just me, or is this like a fucking Kibbles and Bits commercial?
It looks like a straight up Iams commercial. They're not even growling.
What are these, like beagles? Maybe a little bigger?
They're the bloodhounds.
Bloodhounds. They could have used like some, I don't know, Saint Bernards or a German Shepherd.
They could have cut them to where you couldn't see their mouths because none of them were ferocious at all. Like even the ones that were jumping up, like at, who was it? Amy?
Amy is the red-haired girl.
Yes, they were jumping up at Amy, who spilled the kibble. Why wasn't it closer? Why is it in like a whole other side of the barn type of deal?
I think it was upstairs, right? Yeah, carry that big-ass fucking bag.
Yeah, who put it up there?
Well, maybe it was in storage for years.
Well,
dog food has no expiration
well, then they really weren't planning to feed the dogs anytime soon if it's upstairs and rotting.
However, I mean, since these dogs are alive, maybe they're transferred back in time.
I mean, it only makes sense. One more thing to add in there.
Yeah, I mean, we see this like little fox, this little stuffed animal popping out. Dogs go after it.
Didn't that thing come back for some reason? Did it like lead the dogs away or something?
Yeah, well, when the dogs come out and almost attack Amy, if you want to call it that,
sure.
You see the fox pop out. The fox runs outside, taking the dogs with it.
So she still didn't feed the hounds.
No, the dog's about to eat that fox for dinner.
No, he's wily.
Well, she goes outside and sees Pam on a horse, Mirage. That's the name of the horse. Did you catch that one?
I did, but I didn't care about it.
And he runs back to the house, and that magical staircase is still there. Then Pam comes out of a trance. Happy story, right?
So, in the real world, not the dream world, do we know where this family graveyard is? Or is it really just, is it in real life, they have this they just have a stairway in the attic that leads outside to the graveyard?
Considering that I think this is a farm, it probably is realistic that there will be a family graveyard on that property, me studying genealogy for a while. However, I don't think someone who died in the 60s would be in there. Usually it's like 1800s. Like, maybe you'll find someone in there from the 40s and 50s, but people started burying them off the lots like 50s, 60s, typically.
I still bury pets in my yard.
Yeah, maybe the Hounds were out there as well. It's like in that scene we're going to see in a few episodes, the Capture Souls, where he has like the markings of the dog and the family. It's like has a little mock graveyard. At the end of this, Kristen states that Pam did start taking riding lessons again, and the ghost was no longer tormenting them. So I guess there's no other possessions there.
The ghost wasn't tormenting them
that was her words.
The ghost wasn't tormenting them until they put on a jacket after they summoned the devil out of a Ouija board.
I mean, this episode is just kind of weird, man. I mean, like, back in the 80s, you had, like, Cujo, and there's always, like, these stories, like, some wild fucking malicious dog that's gonna, like, kill you and attack you. And I just didn't get this in this episode.
No. I didn't know what the hell was going on in this episode.
I mean, like, when I go back and, like, for leisure, watch episodes of the series, I go Laughing in the Dark. I go to Midnight Madness with the Vampire in the Theater. I go to Dead Man's Float. Like, those really, really strong episodes of original plots. So, like, I didn't ever think, oh, shit, I really need to watch Hunger Hounds.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, this one, like, I remembered it when I watched it again. But other than that, like, if you asked me to, like, name off, you know, as many Are You Afraid of the Dark, you know, episodes as I could, this one is completely forgettable.
At this point in the season, and I've heard some other podcasts who kind of say the same thing about this series. Like, this mid part of season one's a little weird because we have some stories that are a little mediocre to just bad. And that brings us to next week because we got another episode that I don't like called The Super Setbacks.
Let's see. So the one that I watched is The Prom Queen, not Super Specs.
I can edit these in order, man.
Okay.
They don't have to be released in order to record them.
All right.
You want to do our sign off?
No.
Thanks.
You got it.
I can't be the host of everyone.
Yes, you can.
Thanks everybody again for listening. If you enjoyed us ripping apart one of our childhood memories, make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher. Our episodes are available on YouTube as well, on Modulation Studios, which is our production company. Feel free to send us an email at modulationstudios@gmail.com. Enjoy us next week for Tales of the Super Specs.